What's up, guys? It's your boy Santos Destroyer, and I am back at y'all with another video. What if Naruto was a Saiyan Part 3? So, where we left off last time is Naruto and Sasuke are fresh off getting their butts kicked by Rock Lee and now stumble their way into the first exam, which I do believe would go remarkably similar, if not the exact same way, as Naruto has no new ways to gather information and he can't really do anything about it. So I just believe he would either accept the help from Hinata or just leave his answer sheet blank, as he really can't do much about his current situation and lack of knowledge, as we could say. Now, as we head on to the Forest of Death, I do believe that given the fact that this test spans over multiple days, um, Naruto, I feel like, would transform into the Ozaru at some point. And since this is a what if, we can alter things slightly. So let's just say that the battle against Orochimaru spills over into the night, let's just say. And Naruto sneaks a glimpse at the full moon while in his QB enraged state when he's fighting Orochimaru. He would then transform into a QB enraged Ozaru, and this form would be extremely powerful, but Naruto would lose all sense of control when go on a mindless rampage, unable to tell friend from foe. Orochimaru would try and fight Naruto while also worrying about Sasuke. Not really Sakura, she doesn't have any battle presence. Sasuke would be given the cursed mark and essentially negated. Sakura would be tossed aside like the fodder she is in part 1, and it would just be a mindless Ozaru Naruto versus Orochimaru. I do believe, given the fact that Orochimaru is such a smart fighter, he would be able to deduce the weakness of the tail, as Orochimaru would notice how Naruto reacted negatively when Orochimaru struck at the tail. So, but despite having the cursed mark on him, I believe Sasuke would attempt to protect Naruto, as despite the fact that it was a mindless monkey monster, Sasuke would still recognize that that was his comrade, but his attempts would be futile, as Orochimaru would ultimately slice off Naruto's tail, causing him to revert back to his base form and be extremely weakened. Having defeated the immediate threat, I do believe Orochimaru would flee then and there, as his curiosity had been stated, giving Sasuke the cursed mark and witnessing the innate power that Naruto possessed, given the fact that he had used QB chakra on top of the Ozaru form. And this is where Sakura has her independent moment, where she resolves to protect both Naruto and Sasuke, as Naruto is much, much more weakened than he was in the original canon, as not only did he have his seal tampered with, but he also got his tail sliced off. And in Dragon Ball, once an Ozaru gets their tail sliced off, they're left extremely, extremely weakened. So Sakura basically has to fight off Team Dosu on her own, until Rock Lee comes to save the day. And then Rock Lee still gets relatively manhandled by Team Dosu until Team Inoshika comes. And then both Naruto and Sasuke would eventually wake up. Sasuke unleashing his curse mark energy, and Naruto awakening, gaining a Zenkai, which would increase his immediate power. And they would just simply flex their chakra aura power, and Team Dosu would disperse. Zaku, given his arrogance, I do feel like he would approach Sasuke, only to have Sasuke literally destroy him. And at that point, seeing Zaku getting destroyed, Team Dosu would retreat. And now we get to where Team 7 allies themselves with Kabuto, And I do still believe they would ally themselves with Kabuto, as Orochimaru would want Kabuto to not only watch over the progression of Sasuke's curse mark, but also the mysterious power that Naruto displayed, as it was greatly intriguing Orochimaru. So Kabuto allies with them. They still fight off the Team Oboro in canon, as no one really has any special counters against Genjutsu, and they take Team Oboro's scroll and they barely make it in time for the third challenge to begin. However, just like in canon, there is too many participants in the early stages, so the preliminaries are held. And since nothing really major changed, I am leaving the preliminary matchups to be the same as they were in canon, which means that everything goes the same. Sasuke has an easier time defeating his opponent due to the domino effect in Team 7, as Naruto is much stronger than he is in canon, driving Sasuke to be stronger, Sakura in turn. And this makes an interesting mark on the Sakura versus Ino fight. I'd still think it most likely be a tie, but if if it if it wasn't a tie, I would have to give it to Sakura, as just due to the domino effect of Team 7. Naruto versus Kiba is a joke. Naruto is faster than Kiba, stronger than Kiba, more durable than Kiba. Even if Kiba were to take the food pills, it'd only be delay of the inevitable, as Naruto would just out physical Kiba, either pummeling him into submission with shadow clones or just firing a chakra blast at him that knocks him out cold. There's just too many ways for Naruto to win in this situation. Neji versus Hinata goes the same, leading Naruto to still make his blood vow to defeat Neji. And we have Gar versus Rock Lee, one of the greatest fights in the entire show. Gara still wins thanks to his plot armor, and Lee is rendered useless and hospitalized at that moment. So now, as the preliminaries clear up, the matchups will be the same as in canon, with Neji going against Naruto, Sasuke against Gaara, and whatnot. Now we go to the month-long training arc. I do believe Naruto would still train with Jiraiya, as Jiraiya would know that Naruto's father, Minato, was a Saiyan as well, and would probably be able to put two and two together and say, oh, you can do the same things your father can do, can't you? So I do think Minato would work on Naruto's basic chakra control, his um ability to call on the Nine Tails chakra, and his potency slash range with his chakra blasts, and he would get him a basic summoning contract over that month-long period as well. So the days are mostly spent with Naruto and Jiraiya basically sparring to increase Naruto's normal taijutsu, Jiraiya summoning strong like an earth wall, seeing how much of the earth wall that Naruto can blow apart with his chakra blasts, and then draining Naruto using the summonings of his normal chakra reserves to see how powerful his QB enhanced chakra blasts are as well. So that cycle basically repeats itself for an entire month, and after that month, Naruto is much, much stronger due to the fact that he was worked literally to exhaustion each day, and he did receive a small Zenkai boost. Each and every day he was worked to near death. Not death, but near exhaustion. Now comes the main event, the main Chunin exams round 3. Our first fight, like in canon, is Naruto versus Neji. I do still believe that Naruto would get absolutely bodied in the taijutsu portion of the fight. However, as Neji begins to wail on Naruto more and more, I feel like Naruto would just begin to realize how little effect Neji's strikes actually have on him, as he would probably tell Neji something along the lines of, "I've worked myself to death for a month, and compared to what Jiraiya Sensei put me through, these strikes are nothing." And I believe that would anger Neji so much that he would instantly go into 8 trigrams, 64 palms, and I do believe Naruto would ready himself, as he would assume that that's Neji's strongest attack, and just in classic Naruto fashion, he would take it, and then he'd force his chakra points open with the QB, and they'd have their normal fight, their fight where they exchange kunai, and then rather Naruto forcing his way through the rotation and landing the uppercut of death on Neji, I believe Naruto would use a QB enhanced chakra blast to literally rip apart Neji's rotation and then slam him to the wall, ending the match right there. So that's how I believe Naruto would defeat Neji. It would be much less climactic, but the ending would be much more intense than it was in canon. So the other matches go on the same, as Sasuke is working his way to defeat Gaara, the feathers begin to fall, and the Genjutsu takes place. That's where I'm going to end it, guys. That was part 3 of What If Naruto Was a Saiyan. If you made it this far, thank you guys so much. If you liked it, share, subscribe, comment. I'm Santos Destroyer, and I am